this shit before, but I
Yo,
envision it because
yo,
I know I
yo,
needed
yo,
it.
yo, what's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? This is your boy LaShawn Sugar Ray Marston, host of the Sugar Ray Show. I'm here with a very on a very special interview with my nephew, man. My nephew, who's more like a brother to me, man. This guy has been instrumental in my life and my development, in so many ways and at so many different times in my life. He's doing incredible things for himself, for family, for his family, and actually for the world. And I'm really excited to have him here. DJ Ganja Fingaz, entrepreneur, DJ, guru in so many ways. We're gonna get into his bio, and then we're gonna get right talking to him. So let's talk
What's up?
about it.
What's up, people? People, what's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing out there?
What's good? What's good? So we're gonna get right to it. So DJ Ganja Fingaz, or as I know him, Kendall Evans, is a seasoned DJ who has been spinning since 1992 when he was only a teenager. With the global reach, he's played in places like Japan, Cuba, France, and Belgium, as well as across a number of cities and states in America. He's currently the Vamp Life Records DJ, spinning for Jim Jones of Dipset. Dipset, Dipset, Dipset.
You know the
Not only
vibes.
is he a talented DJ, but Ganja Fingers also has his own clothing line and cannabis company where he grows and produces his own strains of cannabis. And he does have a special strain launch happening this Friday, June 9th, and we're going to get into that later. Ganja Fingers, what's good, nephew? How's the day
What's
going, man?
good? What's good? The day's going great. Day's going great. The sun's not shining, but we shining bright. You know what I mean? We out
Yeah,
here.
we gotta light it up even when there's no light outside, man.
That's right.
So
That's a fact.
let's get right to it. Again, I know you my whole life, right? And you've been DJing since we were young, man. You were what, 13 years old when you started DJing?
I was 12, and I was 12 DJing with a broke turntable, and I really got like my real equipment, my graduation, my 12th graduation, and I did my 13th birthday party.
Incredible,
So,
incredible.
so I
So
guess that really coined me to be like a real DJ. I did my 13th birthday party.
absolutely. So let's talk
Yeah,
about that. How'd you get into DJing? What made you at that young age, right? So now think about it. This is in 92. There's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of drugs, a lot of violence in the communities, man, all over the state, right? All over the country.
right.
What made you lean into music and not just listening to music and like dancing to it, but wanting to also like mix and master and spin and stuff like that? What made you want to get into that?
Okay, so I was born in '78. You know what I mean? So the whole like, the '80s, growing up outside and running around. Growing up in Hollis, Queens, I, grew up seeing LL Cool J, Run DMC, Jam Master Jay. I used to play with Jay's nephew. And music was just always a thing, right? Like the parties at Jamaica Park, and then the Trinidadian kid up the block, Donovan, who used to keep these big block parties every summer. So music was just always, it was there. And I guess I always like looked into the creative side of things. Or like when I heard lyrics, I would think like how it was made or the beats. I would like hear the sounds. And back then DJs were scratching, so that was real intriguing to me. Like when the rapper is calling out his DJ and his DJ
Mm,
has a little break, and it's just so with that being all around me, um, it was a lot going on. Like with I would say like my moms and my pops, and just like growing up the lifestyle. And I remember my uncle, um, your brother Naki,
mhm.
called himself Leroy. He he should just see me like, I guess, in the midst of everything, like, yo, find something that you love and just, you know what I mean, hone in on that.
Mm.
And you know in the midst of like all the noise and chaos, like I always found peace in music. And
Mhm.
I felt that I could express myself and get lost in the music. So you know, just to say, of course, I started as a DJ, but I think even younger, I always wanted to be a rapper. So that might be how I ended up being a DJ, because I know a DJ, like a rapper, needs a DJ. But it was just that, all of them emotions and the feeling and the love for music that really made me really like live my life through music. And
Powerful.
you know what I mean?
Powerful. What's that sound back there?
Some people outside. Like
Oh, next
I
door.
got
Yeah, I know. It's
neighbors
so
here
good.
next
It's so
door.
good. It's so good. It's so
I
good.
got a mixed neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yep,
Everything
bro. It's
is
so good,
nice.
man. It's so good.
Yeah, I
So,
might hear something. I might hear people yelling, screaming too. You know what I mean? But
it's,
everybody's good over here.
it's so good, man. So that's dope. So that's dope. So your uncle, family, my brother, gave you a word of advice. Find something that you love, lean into it. What was, especially, let's stay there as a teenager DJing, what was the
Right.
biggest challenge staying committed to the music? Because again, you've been doing it since. It's not like you did it and stopped, and you've been doing it consistently. In spite of all of the
Right.
challenges, you always went back to your music. What was the biggest challenge in staying there in spite of all the things going on?
In all honesty, because that was my getaway, it was no challenge. Like that's where I
Powerful,
always wanted to be. Like nobody couldn't take me away from that. Like that
powerful.
was my, that was my zone. And even as an adult, like I've kind of, I guess that's engraved in me. Like I'll live my emotions or feelings through the music. That's why I guess I'm so emotional when I play,
Mm,
because every song, if it has a meaning, the words that are that the artist wants you to hear, I'm playing it as if like I'm that artist feeding
mm.
it to the people.
Powerful,
Yeah.
powerful,
And
powerful.
my grandfather was a preacher too, so it's like
Yeah,
a
he was.
bunch of mixed things. I used to mock that's your pops. I used to mock him as a kid. So like that kind of got me into the looking in the mirror, and I guess, not thinking back on it, that was building up my self-esteem by looking in
Mm.
the mirror and controlling an imaginary crowd. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep. That's how you
So
do it. Powerful.
yeah.
What was staying there as a youth? What was one of the biggest highlights for you as a DJ, aside from playing your own 13th party? What's something that stood out to you on that journey as a youth?
So on that journey, it seemed like all of my friends would call on me to do parties with them or for them. So one of the biggest highlights was me doing a sound clash at the like the high school party. It was a Hempstead high school party, and I convinced them to let me DJ, and
Nice.
we was gonna do a sound clash. So it was this old ass dude. He didn't even go to our school. We was talking mad shit in the neighborhood, so we said we gonna clash him. So it was him. His name was Romeo, and I got the DJ Mighty K, popular DJ from Hempstead, and like we both killed Romeo,
Nice.
and it kind of like went from me sneaking in clubs and then seeing us like Pooba, like you might hear me talk about Pooba a lot, but
Mhm.
Pooba was a DJ in this club called Yes Club, and I'm like 13, like 14, 15, and we used to sneak out and go in there. Now the owner of the club used to kick us out like 11 o'clock. Like he turned the lights on, so shit rocking from like 9:30 to 11. He kick us out. The shit goes on till like 4 or 5 in the morning. So
Mm.
around like 1, 2 o'clock, we sitting by the door like some little dogs and shit, waiting for somebody to crack the back door.
Yeah.
Somebody cracked the back door. We run inside and blend in with the crowd.
Mm.
And like I would just really stalk the DJ. So I would stalk Pooba till one day he'd be like, "Yo, you could play?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that night it was probably like what 93. That night he let us play. He said, I'm gonna give you a half hour. Come Friday, I'll give you a half hour, and we end up playing about like 45 minutes,
Wow.
and just a bunch of grown ass adults. So then the next day, my homeboy Gary came to the crib and he was like, "Yo, Furley wants you to they want us to play Silver Bullet, and you know what I mean. We got to go down to the club Tropics, and that's gonna be our club. We're gonna have it from Wednesday to Sunday." And I'm like, all right. So like the adrenaline was going because having an imagination, I've always put myself other places. Like I'm gonna be rocking this show, I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be doing that.
Mhm.
So it was just talking about it so much to now all of my friends talking about it till it finally happening and little opportunities coming up and just taking advantage of every opportunity. So then
Incredible.
we got Tropics. I'm like 15 years old. I'm in there right after school doing homework. They feed me. I'd start making tapes while people in there gambling, playing pool, playing dominoes, and
Wow.
then the party start like maybe 9 o'clock. I'll start playing till like 4 o'clock. Then my aunt, she'd come pick me up like 5 in the morning on her way out to work and drop me at the house.
Wow.
And yeah, I was getting allowance and I was getting paid. I was getting allowance like $10 a day, for school, and I was getting 300 a night from Wednesday to Sunday DJing.
Incredible as a 15-year-old.
Yeah, 15 from 15 to 17.
Yo, that's phenomenal, man. That's I
It
don't know
was
if you
great.
know how big that is, right? Like to have that story, as a youth, again, especially this is a time when the drug wars, the gang wars was heavy in New York, right? So shout out to you for that, for following through with that. You mentioned something, right? You mentioned Pooba asked you, can you play?
Shout out my family.
Mhm.
Shout out our family because my grandfather, anything I wanted, like they saw what I was into. Like my aunt bought the coffin. My aunt bought the turntables. My grandfather bought the coffin.
Powerful.
So and they seen that I was at home and everything was coming to me, and I didn't have to be out and about because remember, like everything was going like, come on, police knocking on my door looking for your brother, looking for your
Yeah,
sister, like
yeah,
you know what I mean. My other aunt fighting the police, you know what I mean. So it's
yeah.
just that was my hideout, my zone,
Mm,
and I didn't know
powerful.
that it would do what it did. It was just a thing for me, like you know.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you real quick, where'd you get, and I guess is in that from the family, where'd you get the confidence? Because what I was gonna say was Pooba asking you to play, can you play? And as a 15-year-old kid, you said yes, ecstatically. Where that confidence come from?
Um, anything that I've loved, I've always put myself like at the top, and if I lose or get hit or fall like along the way, like that's where I learn and it's like become better. Like so,
Nice.
confidence is really, I watch people say, "Yo, I'm the nicest, I'm the nicest," but once people really listen to you when you say that. You gotta believe in yourself first.
Yep.
And I think I already had the momentum that you know what I mean. I couldn't fail because you know what I mean. Going from like, all right, so DJing, like I said, I was able to express myself. So I went through some shit like growing like being a kid with adults that is their party and their event, and now the owner is telling them you gotta let this kid play. So it was always a big thing, like, yo, look, young kid boy, yo, like some shit like that. So that kind of like, yo, they would let me come on at 3:50 when the club was over at 4:15.
Mm,
So when I start playing and I'm happy and smiling, the lights is coming on. So now that that's where I got like, so now the next week, like I think I might have said some shit to the DJ like, oh, musclehead, your head is so big you can't use your brain or something, and like the crowd went crazy. So I was kind of like always on the defense. So,
mm,
I was like, oh shit, I could really use this music to, what I mean, defend myself or voice my opinion, like even as a DJ.
powerful.
So that's what
No, that,
drove me because, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I was
No,
able to
that
express those feelings.
that's powerful. So let's go back real quick, right? Let's stay here for a
Okay.
minute. You spoke about the clash at the school. I know that you've won a lot of clashes since. First, for those who don't know, in short, what is a clash? What is a DJ clash? Like, what does that consist of? What is that exactly for those who don't know?
So, all right, like a dancehall or reggae sound clash is when two sound systems, which are two DJs who they have a sound system, because the songs that they're gonna play are gonna be like dub plates, which are special that call their name and say that their sound's the best, and your sound is trash, and everything is about bigging them up and smalling up the other DJ. So it's really about like proving like your skills and your connects.
Mm,
Sometimes it's the money, but it's really all about entertaining the people who can entertain the people,
nice.
while you're competing.
Nice, powerful, powerful,
Yeah.
powerful. So I know we know that you've played all over the world, man. That's an incredible feat to have done that. And you did a lot of that even still at a young age, right? Like you did that like 20 years ago, you was doing that, right? Like other countries and stuff like that. Where was your favorite place to play and why?
Oh man, I don't want nobody to like kill me or not want to like bring me back. But of course, with going to Japan 8 times, I'm definitely gonna say Japan.
Mm,
And why? Because like the landscape of Japan, like I've played in the mountains, like where these dudes had me in a cabin and like fucking wild monkeys like in the trees, and then I'm like, yo, what's that
wow.
at night? They're like, yo, it's the monkeys. I'm like, monkeys. You know what I mean? I played like in like some of the biggest cities like Yokohama. I played
Mm,
alongside Mighty Crown out there. I played in Nagoya. Of course, like all through Tokyo, Shibuya, Shinjuku. And then like I got to visit some hoods too.
mm,
Um, man, I can't think of the name of this place right
mhm.
now, but it's in Nagoya, and my homeboy was living there, and I used to go ride my bike and check him. I stayed there for 3 months one
I
time.
was about to say, I remember that. I remember you
Yeah,
was there
I
three
damn
months.
near lived there.
Yeah,
I
you did.
left because as a when you not from there, you basically you can only stay like 3 months.
Hmm.
So people were telling me like, "Yo, go to Guam, fly like take an hour flight to Guam. That's U.S. soil, and then come right back." I'm like, "Nah, I gotta go home.
You gotta
I got a
go.
daughter. I got a daughter that's born. I gotta meet my daughter.
Yeah, yep,
You
yep.
know
You
what I
was a young
mean?"
dad. Yep, you had young children at the time.
Yeah,
Right. We're gonna get into that too a little later and how fatherhood mixes into all of this, how you're able to manage all of it, right? Um,
definitely mixes into a lot of it.
so let's move forward real quick. So you were DJing, you were traveling. Obviously, you're wearing clothes, right? You're wearing fashion. What inspired you to go into your own fashion line and start building your own clothing company?
All
How'd
right,
that come about?
I'm gonna give you the real. So, all right, fashion has always been a thing. Like my mom's a big booster, so I always had clothes.
Yo, my sister was
uh,
crazy, man. She
I
was
always had clothes, like you know what I mean, Benetton, Cross Colors, Tommy Hilfiger, Nautica, like
all of
everything.
it. We had
So
everything.
clothes wasn't really like nothing, but I just always knew I was, you know, people say, "Oh, you look, you cute, you fly." So
Hmm.
it was a thing. Like, but I used to like write on my clothes and do like little dumb shit, doodle on my shit. But so I would say what really made me get into it is my cousin Rashinda. Shout out, boss lady in
Shout out.
Chicago. She was like, "Hey, I'm doing T-shirts, and you're DJing in front of all these people. You should make some shirts with your name on it, so when
Mm.
people see it, they could, like they'll want to buy one. Me as a hustler, I heard the word buy, like, I'm like some shit I could sell.
Make some money.
Yeah, and it was at a time where um, I had a little situation going in Boston, and
Hmm.
it totally failed. It didn't work out for me, and my options were they were thin. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? I 5-time felon at that time because this was another state. We'll get into all this other shit, but you know what I mean? I just my hands was tied and I had to do something legal. And
Hmm.
at that time I just got locked up for weed. So that kind of like crushed my little momentum. So I said, all right, fuck it. You know, my cousin said I could make clothes. She showed me how to do it. And I started saying, all right. I started making some weed like clothes, like Loud Nation,
Hmm.
um, so dope, stay fresh, like just a bunch of like weed slogans, Loud Pack Boys, Loud Gang, just a bunch of weed apparel. And I end up, as we know, going to Harlem and having a table and selling my
Yep.
shit and
Hmm.
establishing the name Certified because at that time I had 5 kids and that's where the five, came
Hmm.
from. And off note but on note because it's gonna tie in as well. While I'm out there, a dude was like, "Yeah, niggas was telling me you DJ. That's a ill ass DJ name." So I'm like, "Yo, this dude know my name, Ganja Fingaz." He was like, "Nah, DJ certified." And I was like,
Mm.
so that shit kind of stuck, and I
Mm.
used certified for like I started doing Kamir's Boy Scout
Hmm.
parties, so I couldn't put DJ Gunja Fingers, at a Boy Scout party or for Kaylin's Girl Scouts or church party. So that's why the certified, like I said, I certified music DJs. So
Mm.
that's where it kind of came in with the clothing line.
Powerful.
But yeah, like so after just that, it was my mind racing to continuously find designs.
Hmm.
So at that time, it's just every saying, every new song that's hot. If people are saying a catchphrase, whatever is funny, things like that. And that's
Nice.
what really made me. And then the fact that like, to all my hustlers out there, to all my real rights, like so y'all really know, like you can spend $100 on a t-shirt, or if you got the knowledge and the the know-how, you can really, buy a great quality t-shirt maybe from $7 to $10, like a blank, not the $2-3 ones, and then pay somebody like maybe $10-15 to do the design for you, another $5 to press it, and then you might have spent $40 on a one-of-a-kind like dope t-shirt that if somebody wants to buy from you, you can sell $400.
Facts.
So that aspect kind of like hold on, I can go downtown and basically do my own wardrobe, and then people want to support me or look like what I'm making. Like it's just a thing.
Absolutely.
So
No, that's incredible. So with fashion, right? What has been the biggest challenge?
the biggest
Because
challenge.
fashion is what one thing a lot of people say is that is oversaturated. It's oversaturated market, right? A lot of people have ideas, but they don't act on them. So you acted on it, but obviously there's always challenges. So what was the challenge for you in building your fashion brand?
My only challenge, and I'm just I gotta keep it real. I gotta talk the truth. My only challenge was I didn't keep up my own momentum at the
Hmm.
time. And the fact that I am a DJ, of course, when something slowed up here, it was easy for me to just focus on something different.
Hmm.
But if I would have really like sat through to maybe 1 or 2 rainy days, I would have been all right. Cause it's really once you stick to it, you can't lose.
Yep.
But if you allow, like, you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. Once you allow those bad days to kind of be like, well, I went out there, I only made $20 today, and somebody's telling you, well, look, you spent $30 to get out there. Why would you? But that's what all comes with the game. Like with
Yep.
anything you do, when you go into college, you spend thousands on an education, a piece of paper, to hopefully that you're gonna flip in a couple of years.
Yep.
So, if you use that same mindset to what you're doing on the street, you know, even like I don't really want to say drug dealers, but it's kind of like the best. They're gonna be your best teachers because guess what? This guy, he got locked up this morning. The cops took his pack, and then he's back out this afternoon. He had the bail money put aside, and then like he just like that formula, not exactly what he's doing, but the formula is you're
Mhm.
gonna lose, but you have to lose, to win. And just knowing that and at that particular time, I didn't, I let my momentum fall.
Mhm.
And of course, I incorporated back with, now with the weed business and the music, but I let my momentum die. Like, I probably would have had a store
Yep.
if I would have kept on that route because I could have gotten to a storefront. But it's like,
Absolutely.
nah, I started thinking about the weather and, all the wrong
Mhm.
things. I talked
Yeah.
myself out of that to do something else.
Absolutely. No, when it happens, and you mentioned something important, right? And I think Warren Buffett said it. He said like, I lose way more than I win, but when I win big, right? So it's like the
Absolutely.
consistency, having the consistency, right? But it's tough, right? It's a very tough thing, especially you were a dad, and I could imagine just how tough it was. So real quick, because I don't think I ever asked you this, how'd
Okay.
you get the name Ganja Fingaz? How'd that come about? Because you've been Ganja Fingaz for a long time.
God bless the dead. King Tut, Father Tut
Mm,
from Music Machine. Every time I was I played Music Machine when I like 99, 99, maybe like 2-3 years. And he said, your fingers, I swear, every time I see you, you got ganja in your fingers. You're for damn ganja fingers. And I really was
took
like,
it.
yo, that makes sense.
Mhm.
And it was just a thing. So everybody was like, yo, ganja, or yo, ganja fingers, or you know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it
Nice,
stuck.
nice. Do you think that name helped you or hurt you in your DJ career?
Um, I'll be honest with you. It's a part of me that would want to say it hurt me, but it's a like the reality of like the here and now that there's no other fucking Ganja fingers in the
No
world.
other. Nope.
And I went to Japan on my name,
Yep.
and like my name is my name.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I can't really. Of course, that part of me would want to be like, yeah, they shied away because of this, or but
Mhm.
if they shied away because of that, fuck them because it's more than a name.
Yep.
Like it's about what I'm
Absolutely.
bringing to the table.
Absolutely. Which has always been good energy, positive vibes, and true love for
That's
everything
it.
that you've done.
That's it.
Absolutely. And I'm proud of you for that because
Thank
I
you.
remember myself asking that question was like, just in my own head was like, damn, is this name hurting him or helping him? And obviously always wanting the best for you, knowing that, some people's perception is going to shy away because they don't want to be associated with that name. But I've always, had confidence in you that regardless of what, you was going to figure it out
Let me tell you a
because,
funny story.
go
Let
ahead.
me tell you something quick. So your aunt, like our matriarch, Big Mama, right?
Yep.
When she first saw the name on flyers and T-shirts, she's like, "I don't like that.
Yep.
I don't
I
like
know.
that. I don't like that. That ganja, huh? Whoa, whoa." As soon as I went with Downbeat to France, that first time going overseas to France, she on the phone with her friends. Yeah, my nephew. Yeah, yeah, Ganja Fingaz. Ganja Fingaz. You know my nephew, Ganja Fingaz. So it was like it grew. They grew to love it because
Absolutely.
I wasn't gonna change it.
Absolutely. So that goes again to your consistency, right? And to your
Right,
perseverance and resilience and sticking to who you are, right?
right.
Not changing just to please people. Again, so I just wanted to give you a round of applause, man. I'm proud of you
Thank
for
you.
that. Because if it's one thing anyone can say about you is that you've always stood on your ground. You've always stood on what you were doing and who you were. You never changed to please anybody, which a lot of people do. A lot of people change names. A lot of people change the way they dress. A lot of people change a lot of things to please others or to fit in and to be accepted into a crowd. But you, my nephew, my brother, have never done that. So
I'm gonna tell
salute
you
to you.
why. I'm gonna tell you why, and
Yeah.
let this be a lesson to whoever's out there listening. So when I was younger, like playing in those clubs at a young age, like I had the whole crowd around me, the bunch of friends. So
Mhm.
now it was a situation that happened in 1997 where one of my friends at the time broke into my garage and stole my equipment. Which basically, if my whole life is built around my music and my equipment, and you took that from me, now I'm outside and I'm looking for you. I got myself in trouble, because
Mhm.
I'm not gonna sit there and say it was the right thing. I acted off of sheer, anger and emotion, and to play into the part that my friends around me looked at me as, and that they were this tough image. This, so when I did what I did and got in trouble, some of those people that I thought were my friends, they were in court testifying against me,
Mhm.
and I also realized that acting off of an emotion, I lost.
Mm.
I lost a lot. Of course, you can also say, you have to lose to gain, which I gained a lot, which was, why I'm here right now. I
Mhm.
can kind of say that, but you know, um, that lesson that I learned at 17, and then going to prison and becoming a man in prison, like that shit really changed the way I did things moving forward when I came out. So I really, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If that was my second chance at, all them nights you in there like, yo, man, if I get out, I could do this, I could do that. That's just my whole, like, I can't take no for an answer because, that little person in your head will always, tell you what you can't do.
Mhm.
And when you realize, you listening to people and people's opinions, people are going to always tell you, hey, I need you to, do this on the right side now. Hey, do this on the left side now. Yeah, just don't even do it at all. So you realize you wasted all that energy into trying to please somebody's opinion of you. And, somebody that you don't even know, be like, I love it just the way it is. And then when you really look at that and you say like, yo, you know what, man, this person made it, that person made it. And then not even to say looking at everybody, but when you listen to a lot of successful people's starting, they kind of went through the worst.
Mhm.
Some people slept in their cars, slept on beaches, homeless. Some people just the amount of struggles, losing everything to gain all,
Mhm.
and I kind of identify with that. So I was never afraid to lose because it's been times in my life where I've lost certain things that, you know, turned right around and something else big is there. And it's like, yo, damn, how'd I get there? And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you had to really lose, you know, kind of similar like to fasting, the method of people fasting. I don't fast, but it's the method
Mhm.
of, suffering for something.
Mhm.
And, with the right work ethic, you can, the money might not be there right now. You might be losing everything right now. But if you continue to work right now, it has to pay. The check is already It's already written.
It's already written. You just gotta go get it.
That's it.
Absolutely. I want to just speak about something pretty touching, if you don't mind. 98, my sister, your aunt Reese passes, right? You was incarcerated, right? Your mom was also, my sister was also incarcerated. And I remember both of you at the funeral together. How did that feel for you as a young man at your aunt's funeral, incarcerated in shackles with your mom also in shackles? Like, what was that feeling for you? If you could talk about it.
All right. Like I said, right, my lifestyle growing up was always like, that mentality was the cops was the enemies because they was busting in our house. My grandfather was talking about things they were doing, to the young black man, certain like the energy with police brutality, which me as a kid only hearing that and not knowing about, like, you know, the realness of what the drugs was doing to our community, and the fact when they killed that cop over there and TNT, and that was the era when, you know what I mean, Larry Davis, shit like that. So them knocking on my door trying to take my uncle or my mom away, that was always, if your mother says it, if your mom says it's right, then it's right. So my mentality was, doing wrong was right, and just don't get caught. And I think at that moment at my aunt's funeral, I really realized, like, yo, this whole fucking life is a sham. Like, fuck all this fake um drug dealer hustling, scheming, scamming, because this shit breaks families apart. She can't even give me a hug right now. I gotta go back. My family acting weird, only because they knew that they was gonna bring me back down to court and re-sentence me. But it was just a whole thing, and like, my mom's, God bless her dead, I think it was at that moment where it was like, yo, mommy, this shit ain't cool. Like, this ain't cool, because growing up, it's cool. Because your mom say it's cool. But when you can learn, become an adult, you can say, like, yo, things I thought was right, it's not the right way to live. Because I wouldn't want nobody to bust me over my head and take my check. I wouldn't want to open a store and somebody keep coming in my store stealing from my store. And that's the realness of it. I think I felt all that at once. Like, I'm a piece of shit ass criminal with my mom's and the shit too. And that kind of, my anger towards her right then and there, that's what made her come home and get clean. Which,
100% she did.
So thanks for asking. That shit is, I'm kind of like shivering right now.
And I can imagine, bro. I can
But
imagine.
I guess
Because no,
what
I was
makes
gonna
us
I was gonna
makes
say,
us go
go ahead.
ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. You got.
What don't break us makes us. That's all.
No, 100%. And I was gonna say was, again, I'm 14 at the time, but I was, as you know, very aware, very observant of my surroundings. And so I paid attention to you. Like, I remember, I don't know if you remember, you had earrings, but they didn't let you have your earrings. You had to put the toothpick or something in your ear. Right.
Yeah.
I remember that, looking at my nephew with a toothpick in his ear, right? To keep the hole open. You see? So I
Yeah.
remember your face, I remember the sadness, I remember the heaviness in you, and I remember it in her too. And I think that was a turning point for both of you, right?
Yeah.
Even though you still dealt with some stuff after, but I think, like you said, that was a moment when you realized that a lot of things that you thought were cool weren't cool, and your anger towards her, she came home and she never went back, and she changed her whole life, and she started
Yes.
working in the same places, that she was once a part of, drug facilities, helping a
Yeah.
lot of people get clean. So I just thank you for speaking on that.
Nah, you're welcome. Because this is me. Like, this, all of this makes me who I am. Like, this is what
100%.
makes me tick. You know what I mean?
100%, man. So let's fast forward to present day. You're a dad, right? You mentioned before you was a dad at the time of 5 children. Now you're a dad of 7, right?
Six.
Six. Okay.
6. 4
No,
boys and 2 girls.
4 boys, 2 girls. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, 6. Um, what, like, how have they inspired you? How have they, what inspiration did they give you, and how do they motivate you, like, to present day?
All right. They motivate me. They've always motivated me, I guess, because they're 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 my offspring. They're like little me's that they need and want so many things. So now all the things that I've had in my life, my family and everything I learned from my family, and plus the things that I didn't get from my mom and my dad, I feel like that is set me on this path to just have to do everything for them to make sure that they they know the right and wrong way to face everything that they're gonna come up against in life, all the experiences they're gonna have to come up against, the importance of brotherhood and sisterhood and family. And bro, with 6 kids, man, you gotta always have money. You gotta always buy shit. Like, yeah, that shit is cool until like everybody needs summer clothes or everybody wants to go on vacation or has to go on vacation. Christmas is all right according to how you deal with it, but back to school when you gotta buy 6 book bags, you know what I mean? And book bags is crazy, and sneakers is 200-300. You can't, the Air Forces ain't cutting it no more.
It wasn't cutting no more.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? That's my drive right there. So
Mhm.
I kind of can't fail, and then I can't. All right, I'm gonna keep it tall, right? I can't I can't go out there and do nothing illegal because it's quick money to take care of them, because I have to really think about the consequence of me
Mm,
being away from them.
mm,
So it forces me to kind of like think in a box, but outside of a box. Like I'm in a lane where I can't do too much of this or too much of that, but I can really, if I got to wash a window or sell water or make a shirt, or if I have to do that, that's what I have to do. So I feel like they keep me on the straight and narrow. Like
mm,
to present day, apart from me working and networking when I have to network, I don't really go out and hang out because I think about my kids. I think about there's some crazy shit to say, but if I died on the job, it's different than me dying hanging out. Like what the fuck is he
100%.
even doing over there? Like, but
100%.
if he was working, then it's something different.
100%.
So
100%.
that's kind of like how I live and live my life
No, I love
based
that.
on them and being there, wanting to be there for them and see them.
Absolutely. No, I love that mindset. Um, and with that, I want to move to right now. You are currently building a cannabis company, right? You have your cannabis strain, and you're doing it with your son, with your oldest son, right?
Yeah, what
Before we even
came
talk
in.
about the cannabis, how is that working with your son side by side, learning from him and just working with him, guiding him in business, learning the science from him? How is that? Like, how is it in terms of the business, and how has that strengthened your relationship?
All right, it's amazing. And if we got to take it from the
Yeah.
start is when he was in, I think, third grade, going to school. He went to school and he told them some kids was cracking on him, right? I think it's like his fucking legs was ashy or some shit. So they would call him like a little crackhead or something. He was like, yo, I ain't no
Yo,
crackhead. He was like, yo, he stole my grinder. He was like, yo, this is what I be on. This is what I do.
I
And
remember.
he gave the kid the grinder and he said, me and my dad, we growing over my aunt house. So he said this shit at,
At
in the
school,
third grade.
I remember.
We got in a whole lot of trouble behind it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I had to go, call a little 800 number and go
Yep.
sit down with some people. It's not a nice thing to do, but I'm just going to say that he put that out there since then.
Mm, crazy.
And the whole growing part of it came to like, him knowing all of these weeds. So, I'm a old school smoker. So like when it went from like, you know, Reggie to Con Bud to Haze or Hydro, and then sour and what it is now with all these different things. So him, yo, dad, this is Blue Gelato 41. Yo, and I'm like, yo, what fucking name is this? Like somebody made that shit up, and he's like, nah, this for real. So him saying that and knowing all of these names and the differences and the smells and the taste and the textures. Now, mind you, I've always smoked weed, and you just know, like, you buy some weed from somebody, if you don't like it, you're like, I ain't fucking with him no more.
Hmm.
Like, you just don't know what weed
It
he
is.
has, but kind of Kamir knowing the names of them shits was like, yo, all right, I'm gonna bring nigga, let's go to this spot. They got a show over there. Come with me, come tell me the names of these shit. You know what I mean? Shit like so then he was like, yo, that's the one to get. Oh, that's the one to get.
Mm.
So whatever I liked, it was like, all right, yo, I want more of this shit. But then it's like, yo, pops, we can't. Niggas want $60 an eighth. You know, like that shit is good sometime, but it's we got to grow this shit.
Mhm.
So we just kept saying that until I think I don't know what year it was. New York legalized it, and then that's when like on 80, like Big Mama told me some shit on the news, and I read it and I looked it up,
Mhm.
and like I was like, yo, I could sell weed again.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
So how does that feel that is legalized now and you were once locked up for it? Right? You were locked up for it and now it's legalized and now you're growing it and doing it in a way that's legal.
all right, so I feel like it's bullshit because
Mm.
you know what I mean. Like, it's all politics. It was all politics because I know for a fact I was locked up one time in particular where I'm in the cell and I heard the cops discussing what they were bringing to their barbecue that next Saturday, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna bring some of this shit." And I'm like, "Yo, come on, man, at least like give me a spliff, let me smoke some of that shit." Like, yo, shut up, da da da, whatever. So I noticed the motherfucker said he was going to the room. I had him to bring this up. He said that's like 3 times. So regardless to what I know I had when I went to court and they read it out, I was like, these motherfuckers, they took
Mm.
that shit. So
Wow.
we knew it was bullshit. So like right now, I mean, it's legal, but the amount of money it costs to get in it is
Yep.
it's crazy.
Mm.
So I'm just happy with the fact that it's legal. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? A lot of the yes, we do need regulations because I'm huge on like what you're gonna consume in your body.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like stale, moldy, powdery mildew shit was infested with bugs. Like I'm not really with, or like PGR weed. Like I'm not
Mhm.
really with that. But it kind of set me to like, hold on, I could grow some shit that I know the name, and if I like the taste, like I can manipulate it and clone it and try to mix it with another. You know what I mean? Another taste or another structure that I might like. And that shit just kind of got me in a rabbit hole, and then my son being there and then with the science that he has, like I always looked at him as the professor.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I mean? Because he always had the answer to shit. So like, it's been times I've been like falling apart, like, Pops, please listen to me. Like he's been my confidant and shit.
Yeah.
He'll give me some simple answers. I'd be like, for real, that's it? Like, thank you. You know what I mean? And the shit works.
Nice.
So I think on the journey with the science that he has as far as plant science, because I don't know shit about, I didn't know anything about plants. I never planted anything in my life.
Mm.
But I think the fact that like my determination to make this shit happen and stop giving these fake ass weed niggas like my bread and they don't even know what the fuck they selling me.
Yep.
Like might as well if people are doing it, like it can't be that hard. If once one person is doing it, like it's not impossible. So
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? I just kind of went in a rabbit hole with that. And
Mhm. No, it's
it's been a
incredible
journey.
now. So I was there last week,
Mhm.
right? I was there. You got a whole setup. Um, just before we talk about the actual work and what it takes to do it, talk about the feeling every day when you walk into your grow house. What is that like? Is there a certain feeling that comes over you? A feeling of like we here, a feel like we doing it. Like, what's the mindset every day going in to do your work?
What more can I do?
Mm.
What more can I do? I didn't do this last time. People say, "Oh, but this was great. This was better." And I know it's like, I know it's great because honestly, I wouldn't smoke it if it wasn't. Because I like I don't
For real.
the whole thing in like business is for one, like, or even trying to do something, is being honest with yourself.
Mm.
Like, so let's just say if I was rapping and I made a song and I wasn't feeling the song, like I couldn't. I'm not gonna push it to you like, yo, listen to my song.
Mhm.
I have to be feeling it, and then for you to tell me, like, nah, it ain't right, or it ain't hitting, or it might need this or that, for me to take it back to the drawing board, because I'm open to constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
because being that like I want the best, I'm kind of like a perfectionist. I'm not perfect, but I don't want to like I'm not gonna shortchange myself like on lights or nutrients or everything that it takes to get it where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always like pushing for more like what I could do. I'm always but it's an exciting feeling. Like it's work, it's happy. It's
Nice,
like it's a piece. It's a real
nice,
piece. Yeah.
nice. So let's come Friday, just in 5 days. All right. June 9th, you are
In
launching
five
your own.
days it's gonna be crazy.
You're launching your own strain. Like what? So again, there's one thing to smoke weed. There's one thing to consume weed. There's one thing to grow weed for yourself. But then to market it, to put it, say, you know what, we're taking this to the market. We're gonna share this with the world. What made you make that commitment and make that decision?
Because the fact that it's for one, it's possible. You see people that have other people growing for them, that have other people finding strains for them, drawing up their designs. Not saying like, as a boss you can't do that and put everything together. But then the fact that like I can do it all myself or like we can all collectively do it together
Mm-hmm.
and put it out like to the people. So once you cut out the middleman, you cut out the hype man and you just, directly to the people. And that's really what my certified brand is about. Like it's not about the hype. Like
Oh.
yeah, it's really about like the quality. So some people, prefer the instant, yo, I got on a Louis belt. I could be butt naked with the Louis belt on, and all you gonna say is, yo, this nigga, yo, I like how you rocking that belt. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? The real I guess real test in life is to like, can I create some shit that I'm gonna like and that people are gonna like and wanna rock and support? Because look, man, it's easy to be regular.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But you want things in life. You see a fucking car go by, or you see a motherfucking jet go by, you're like, yo, somebody owns that. You see
Mm,
these buildings and you say, you go to the city, especially New York City is like the biggest inspiration. Crossing that bridge, looking at those buildings, knowing that someone he has a corporation, but someone owns one of these buildings.
mm,
Someone is driving one of these cars, they own that shit.
mm,
So, what did they do to get it? It's a way you don't have to do what they do, but somehow they use their skill or their knowledge to obtain it. So it's nothing's impossible.
mhm,
And I think that's just, me looking at the glass is always, half full for me.
mhm.
If it got a drop of water in it, like, oh shit, water could go in there. All right, we just got to keep putting more water in there.
Absolutely. How important is ownership in terms of family legacy for you personally?
Ownership is very important because my grandfather, your dad, I think most of our first job was the cleaning company,
Yep.
which we always straight away and say we want a real job, but not thinking about it, a real job was working into something that you're building, a legacy on. So,
Hmm.
for example, Dr. Shaffrin, it's a job that my aunt still does to this day.
Yep.
At 90 years old. So now going to Dr. Shaffrin as a kid, when I was Khalil's age, having to sit there, don't touch this, maybe you could take one of the little toys, a little Dracula teeth and a toothbrush. The fact that Khalil can do that now is like, and me telling him, like, yo, when I was a kid, I used to come here.
Mm,
Like, that's when it really hits you. Like, damn, that's the powerfulness in ownership and legacy.
mm,
The reality of it is the first thing that first generation kids want to do is get away from everything that their family did.
mm.
They're on a farm, everything came in, I'm stuck, I'm tired of this farm, I feel like I'm trapped on this farm, and they want to go do something else. And later on they realize like, damn, the farm, I had control of everything. It was
Yep.
just my work ethic. It wasn't another job's not going to make me rich and happy like my work ethic is going to make me rich and happy.
Absolutely.
So, you know, me having that. Like honestly, and I've been in some situations where, people, because they might have introduced you to something or put you on to something, they kind of have the right to talk to you and be like, nigga, I made you, if it wasn't for me, if I ain't do this, you wouldn't have known that, or if I ain't do that, you wouldn't have got here. So that's why it was really important for me to build everything from the ground up,
Powerful.
you
No,
know.
that's incredible. So Friday, your strain launches. What can people expect? What can people expect, and what are you excited about the strain launch on Friday, June 9th?
All right, so people can expect real weed, no PGR shit, no no fancy packaging, and like just because the shit comes in a purple bag with a clown means that it's gas, or no sprayed on terps. It's just about like real weed, and the fact that I can grow real weed that competes with the dispensary, and it hasn't been sitting up for 5 6 months, or it's not last year's harvest. Somebody's trying to get on a discount. So the fact that you're going to get real weed and
Mm.
it's freshly harvested, within the last 2 months, that's like the greatest experience. I got a lot of friends who always enjoy my strains,
I
and
enjoyed
that
your strain last week.
you enjoyed it, and
Mhm.
every time they say it gets better and better, but I'm really excited about the strains that we ran this last session, and Kamir put his science with it,
Mm.
and I was gifted a few clones from him. I'll just say Steinburner, you
Okay.
know, and I'll also say Ryan from Li Hydro.
Mm.
I've gotten some genetics from some real breeders and people who are really, into good weed. So it's me bringing that back to the block, like back to the hood, like yo, fuck all this bullshit y'all smoking, like yo, smoke this, like it's just an experience. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I just want everybody to come enjoy the experience. You know what I
Fire.
mean?
Yes,
June 9th is
sir.
gonna be crazy. I got Chris Capone. He's one of the hottest DJs in the street right now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He's gonna bless the turntables or the CDJs. You know what I mean? I might have a few surprise artists. You know what I mean? I'm not banking on that because I don't really want it to be about, the hype and might have artists and strippers. Like it's just really about the weed and the people and bringing people together. Like I might have people from all different races and ethnic backgrounds just coming to
Mhm.
enjoy the plant. You know what I
Nice.
mean? That's what I'm excited about.
Nice. If you could tell us real quick, what are some of the strains? What are some of your favorite strains? Or what is your favorite strain that you're growing right now? That'll be at the release.
My favorite strain is this grape Nihilators.
Mm.
I'll just say that it was a pheno hunt, meaning that we had to search for it and clone it and keep it alive. And kind of like, a clone of a clone of a clone kind of becomes your genetic and your environment. And as long as your environment was dialed in, you get a certain taste, a certain effect that's consistent every time.
Mm.
So it's a mix of like Kim 95 and like a guava. You know what I mean? And the cross is just crazy. You know what I mean?
Fire.
It's really crazy. I will have plants there as well because I also encourage people like not to just keep buying weed. You can also grow your own,
And
and
that's powerful that you're doing that.
yeah,
That's
man,
powerful.
because that's really what it's all about. Like if you can, what I mean, save money, be resourceful by just putting in a little bit of work. That's my job is done. Like if I can pass that on the same way I was inspired by someone, you know what I mean? And it just kind of led me down the rabbit hole to, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on certain lights and trying to do 50 million things at once, but you can definitely grow for yourself and grow a good amount for yourself to keep yourself sustained. Because the eighth a day is $50, and if you're a real smoker, you're smoking $100 a day, 700 a week.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot. Yeah.
So let's talk about Vamp Life, man. DJ for Vamp Life Records.
Vamp Life Records.
Jim Jones. How'd you get plugged in with them? How'd you get plugged in with Jimmy? How'd that connection happen?
All right, so shout out Chris Luck, shout out Lucky. You know what I mean? The whole management. So I started doing events. I started doing the weed events. So I gotta shout out NYC Empire, Gas Guards, King Problem, Gunja Pigs. They was doing events, Certs, Big Certs, Certs Lounge. And I wanted a way to get my brand out there, to get my weed brand out there. So I told them, worked out something where, I would DJ, get a little bread, and I'll be able to have my table out there. So after that happened, I did a couple of shows, maybe like 3, 4 shows a week. I would say from September to November. We did a show with a couple of different artists passed through, Bobby Smurda, Sean Paul. We did A Boogie, uh, so many artists. Um, we did a thing with Joel Santana, and then the way I DJ'd that night for Joel's, like I had all his music on deck.
Mm.
So, that whole energy and that vibe and the venue that we was in, high tolerance and, kind of everybody was like, yo, all right, that's the DJ. All right, so there was like Jim had his Christmas event and him probably linked me like, yo, niggas want you to play the Christmas event.
Nice.
So I did the Christmas show, his Christmas release party. So the show was hectic because they had their artists performing songs off the album, and then there was a lot of artists that paid to basically get on and do their thing. So the way that I kind of dealt with everything and knowing that Jim was in the building and knowing how my mom's felt
Hmm.
about Jim Jones
Hmm.
and like how I always fucked with Jim Jones, like his
Hmm.
hustle music, trap music type shit, like
Yep.
balling. Of course, you're gonna love balling, but it was some like mixtape shit I used to fuck with. Like riding around with Jigga, the whole high grade
Of
family, that
course.
who we wearing 3X t-shirts, shit like that,
Of
Dipset.
course. Of
You know
course.
what I
Of
mean?
course. Of
So
course.
I think the way I played that night, I know I even had his management like, yo, damn, I remember we did them records, but damn, like I ain't that shit was years ago, like damn.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, I really fuck with Jim music, you know what I mean? And I reached out to him because he would send me songs via email. So I hit him up like, yo, look, I've been doing this for, such and such almost 30 years. I'm really loving the movement. I like what y'all doing with the artists. You know what I mean? I took a shot. I was like, yo, if you ever need me, like, let me know. You know what I mean? I definitely want to, be a part of it. And
Nice.
it was like probably like 2 months or some shit. 2 months went by. You know what I mean? So I'm doing my thing. And 2 months went by and then Chris sent me some music.
Mm.
And I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? Like I knew like I was still on.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
now he invited me to the spot, one of the spots where, they record at in the studio and just going there and seeing everything. And the fact that my son, my oldest, him being an aspiring artist, upcoming artist, it kind of got me like, all right, man, I'm gonna see how this shit really goes. So, I
Yeah.
know about sound clash and dance hall and DJing and
Hmm.
partying, but just also seeing the element of like how songs get made and how the production and the whole everything about it. You know what I mean? My love for
Yeah.
music got, you know what I mean? It really made me and Chris connect, and me seeing how hard he goes for the artist and the whole movement. You know what I
Powerful.
mean? And once Jim said like, what I mean, yeah, he fucking with it, Ganja Fingers. Like, yeah, he'd be like, yo, yeah, Ganja Fingers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Powerful.
it's just
Nah, it's great, man. It's great. So, real quick, man, before we wrap it up,
mhm,
we definitely got to come back and do a part two. There's more to talk about.
definitely.
What are some words of inspiration in 30 seconds or less that you can have for the people before we go?
All right, never give up, right? Because listen, you can go to work for somebody on a 9 to 5 and you can have a bad day, or you can work for yourself and have a bad day,
Mm.
right? So just pick which one you really want. Like life is short, so live it to your fullest every day. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean like live like there's no tomorrow, but I kind of have that in your mind. Like I don't have tomorrow to do what I need to do right now.
Mm.
It doesn't matter how you feel about you at the moment. Like, you know what I mean? Always look to your, within to pull yourself out. Because somebody on
Powerful,
the outside looking in doesn't see how you really feel about you.
powerful.
So, not to say letting somebody's words be like deterring to you or like cripple you, but sometimes you gotta just, listen to your energy, not just your mind sometimes of how you're feeling. And never give up, because anybody who made it, they never gave up. Anybody successful, whether they're a boxer, whether they're an actor, a rapper, I don't care what they're doing, they're a seller, they just never gave up. So anything you
Mhm.
want to do, never give up. Expect to lose, and that's the only way you're going to win.
Yo, absolutely. Yo, nephew, man, Ganja Fingaz, I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview. I look forward to releasing it and allowing the
Thank
world
you.
to see it, man, and learn from you. You dropped a lot of gems today, a lot of gems, from
Thank
fashion to
you.
music to fatherhood to, just relationship with your mom. You dropped a lot of jewels, man. I appreciate you.
I
Yo,
appreciate you. And I love what
yo,
you're doing. I love what you're
appreciate
doing. Let me say that, man. I want to give
Appreciate
you
you.
your, I got
Hold
to
on,
give you
hold on,
your
hold on, hold on,
flowers.
hold on. We gotta wrap up. I don't want the time to go too far,
All
and
right.
then we can't really put it out. Right?
All right.
I'm still learning I'm still learning this thing here.
I
But
got you.
yo, listen, man, this is your boy LaShawn Sugar Ray Marston, host of the Sugar Ray Show. Interview with DJ Ganja Fingaz, my nephew, man, more like my brother. Very proud of this guy. Make sure you watch this full interview. Make sure you share it with those you love, and make sure you keep pushing. And as he said, never give up. Believe
Never
in
give up.
yourself, and there's no limit to what you'd accomplish. Peace.
Peace.